Hey guys, my first real winter, and because from California, and my first winter out here, we had the great snowstorm of 2026, the great ice storm, and all the drama, and I prepped and got backups for my backups for my backups, and didn't use any of it, fortunately, knock on wood. Just down here checking out the creek. It's mostly frozen over. This is Kenneconic Creek, or the Kinney, or Kenneconic River, whatever you want to say. But it's beautiful. I still prefer summer and spring to winter. But, you know, I don't know. Everything went great for us. The only real problems were, there weren't really any problems. We moved from what we call our stilt house to our bunkhouse because it's much better insulated. And when you start getting around to zero and negative numbers, that insulation matters. And we were planning on moving to the bunkhouse anyway, just not so soon, because I'm still doing some work in there, but we're mostly done. I just haven't put in the bathtub for my wife, and she's not happy about that, but I'll get it done. Here's the creek. It's beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. It's about 32 degrees out right now, which is the warmest it's been for quite a while. And just heading up toward the houses. So, some deer and some rabbits running around. Put a little seed out for the birds. They loved it. I guess that's rabbit tracks there. It's got to be rabbit tracks, huh? They're all over the place. We must have a lot of rabbits. Have to keep that in mind. Yeah. Had some deer tracks over there a ways. So, I don't know. So, yeah, I guess my response to my first winter and the great ice storm and all that stuff is ho-hum. The power didn't go out, didn't use any of our backups, but I'm glad I had them. We learned a few things, so I'll make improvements. Already made a lot of improvements, but basically just no big drama. Now we didn't get hit as bad as some people. I guess they got hammered in Tennessee. We're up in northeastern Kentucky, right up near that upper northeastern corner, and we're kind of sheltered. We're a little bit in the mountains, or it's not really mountains. We're in the foothills of the northern Appalachia. And we are technically in Appalachian County, but it's the hills, I think, kind of shelter us from some of the worst of it, because you go just 15-20 minutes away out into the flat, and they've always seemed to have worse weather than us. But here's the compound. That's the bunkhouse. That's where we're living right now, and from now on, I guess. And there's the church, which is really my shop and my gym and my armory. And there's what we call the stilt house. When you got a lifted structure like that, the cold gets under there and it freezes the beams, and that carries that chill right up into the bones of the house. And that little house was consuming about twice as much energy as this big house. This is 3,000 square feet there. And just much more comfortable in the big house. I got a carport built before winter came. I'm very glad I spent the money for that. That's just being able to go out and get in a dry car that's not covered with a foot of snow is really nice. Anyway. It's beautiful out here. I don't really have anything to say, so I'm sorry I just wasted, 5 minutes of your time, but just wanted to touch base. You guys have a good one. Kentucky is very different in the winter. That's our church up there, the church we actually go to. It's right across the street, so that's pretty cool. But anyway, I'll see you.